Well, hello. As we continue trying to solve quadratics in any way possible, today we get to one of my favorite topics, the quadratic formula. Um, the quadratic formula we can use to solve any quadratic. That's why this is such a beautiful equation here. Um, if we have something in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, we can solve using x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This formula is very important with quadratics. So let's see how we use it. Alright, so let's use the quadratic formula to solve x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 0. So again, remember that whenever we're solving quadratics, we're just finding an x-intercept. So, first we need to break it down. What does a equal? What does b equal? And what does c equal? A, b, and c are just the coefficients, so since we have 1x squared, a is 1, b is negative 5, and c is negative 4. So as I plug those into the equation, I have x equals, here it's the negative b really just means whatever this sign is, just change it. So positive 5 plus or minus the square root of, and for this b squared, this is where some people get tripped up because the calculator will tell you that negative 5 squared is negative 25. But remember, any squared term is always positive. So negative 5 squared is positive 25 minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a, 2 times 1. Alright, so that's x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 25. Now, notice that we have a negative 4 times a negative 4, so this is plus 16 all over 2. As we keep simplifying here, x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 41 all over 2. And at this point we say, okay, are there any perfect squares in 41? No, this is as simplified as it can get. So this quadratic has two solutions, 5 plus the square root of 41 over 2 and 5 minus the square root of 41 over 2. So these would be the x-intercepts of this quadratic. Alright, let's do it again. Alright, so here we have 4x squared plus 10x equals negative 10x plus 25. Well, the very first thing I need to do is set everything equal to 0, because remember, y equals 0 at an x-intercept. So I'm going to add the 10x and subtract the 25. So I have 4x squared plus, now it's 20x, minus 25 equals 0. So now I can plug them all into the quadratic formula to solve for x. So x equals the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared. 20 squared is 400, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Alright, so here we'd have x equals negative 20 plus or minus, this all comes out to the square root of 800 all over 8. Alright, so we just saw that 20 squared is 400, so I know that 400 goes into 800 and 400 is a perfect square. So I can just go ahead and simplify that. Negative 20 plus or minus, the square root of 400 was 20, and I'm left over with a 2 inside, all over 8. And here, all three of these numbers, you can't use the number inside the square root. It has to be a number attached to it. All three of these are all divisible by 4. So I have x equals negative 5 plus or minus 5 square roots of 2 all over 2. Alright, so you go ahead and try this problem, pause the video, and then we'll come back together in a moment. Alright, so you should have gotten that the two x-intercepts are x equals 1 plus or minus I root 47 all over 6. Alright, so that's how we use the quadratic formula. It's pretty much just plug in the numbers that you're given. Alright, goodbye.